Hello and welcome back to the Give and Go. It's your boy Reynoso here with my guy. That's so weird. I switched it up.
It's my guy. What's up, guys?
It's
guys and
Soltero.
gals.
Let me introduce you.
What's up? How's it going, guys?
It's Soltero. Folks, we're here to talk transfers. We're going to give you guys an update on everything that's happened so far in the transfer world that at least sticks out to us, right? Because we try to cover all that is world football.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to focus just on the big name signings, although there are some that are notable. We've got some crazy things happening in Asia, happening in North America and South America.
Yeah.
I want to hear what you have to say because we kind of just hinted at it back and forth within our own conversations. Now that the bright lights are on, who do we bring up? I'll let you have first pick. What's the first transfer you want to bring up to me and to the rest of the listeners?
So I'm going to bring up the most obvious, the most biggest transfer that has happened. Everyone's talked about it. We've talked about it.
What does it have to do with that?
Italia?
Yeah.
No, we're not going there. We're not going there. No, I'm going the most obvious one. And I just want to give a more in-depth take, and I want to know people's opinions on this too, because, you know, there's so much that happened, or there was so much going on when everyone knew it was going to happen. And I'm talking about Kylian Mbappe to Real Madrid.
Oh, yeah.
And the more that I really think about it, the more I realize, like, this is a crazy transfer. Truly, and I do want to have a take on it, and I want to know people's real in-depth opinions on it, because we're here. We're in the timeline that has Kylian Mbappe going from PSG to Real Madrid, and the first thing that comes to mind for me is that this is giving 2009-2010 Cristiano Ronaldo transfer from Manchester United to Real Madrid. There's so many similarities, but there's some really, really big differences that, you know, quite frankly scare me. So the similarities are, I mean, Manchester United, Cristiano Ronaldo's reign there, he dominated the Premier League. He was there for 6 years. He made the name for himself at Manchester United. And then in 2009, he makes probably one of the biggest transfers in the history of football by going to probably one of the biggest clubs in the world, Real Madrid. You look at Kylian Mbappe, man, and he had 7 seasons in France. 7 seasons with PSG. Sorry, 8 if you include Monaco. And at the end of his tenure in France, bro, we've already kind of mentioned it. You could probably say he is the greatest Ligue 1 player of all time.
Yep, career.
Yeah, in career. Yeah. Like, you look at the numbers, what he's achieved specifically in France, I don't think any other player tops Mbappe in that regard, and Real Madrid are now getting him on a free transfer. It is pretty crazy. I think the biggest difference that really stands out to me, though, is when Madrid got Ronaldo all those years ago, the last time that they had won the Champions League was in 2002. Damn. So they were trying to end a drought, and honestly a pretty big drought if you consider Real Madrid to be the biggest club in the world.
100%.
So getting Cristiano at the time, they were also getting, you know, players like Mesut Ozil, Gonzalo Higuain. They were trying to gather together the Galacticos. Kaká as well got the transfer from AC Milan to join up with Ronaldo, and they were creating this giant, massive team at the time. But you look at the transfer today, bro. Madrid just won the goddamn Champions League. They already won it. And now they're getting Mbappe to boot. That's terrifying. Like, if you're any other club, you're like, first off, how is this fair? What is going on? And if you're Kylian Mbappe in Real Madrid, I'm going to put the pressure on you. You have to go to the final next year. There's no excuse, bro.
Oh, they have
There's no, like, you have
everything.
Vinicius Jr.
Win everything.
You have to win everything, bro. Yeah. You just won La Liga. You just won the Champions League. You're keeping every single player the same. The only difference is you no longer have Toni Kroos. And I understand that's a big, big miss, but through the last 3 years, you've been priming players like Camavinga and Tchouaméni to take over. I think they're ready for it. You add in the idea that you have the best winger, or you have one of the best wingers in the world in Vinicius Jr. You have probably one of the best star boys in the world in Jude Bellingham. And now you get to add Kylian Mbappe. It's Champions League final or nothing for me for Real Madrid. So there's so much pressure, I think, ultimately when it comes to Madrid's story arc coming into this season. And also Mbappe himself, bro, he has to win the Champions League. This is why he's ultimately here. I just think it's crazy that he's going to a team that literally just won it. I can't really fathom that idea because for the most part, you go to a team that is trying to win something. Madrid have just finished winning everything, and now they also get Kylian Mbappe.
I actually don't think we've actually seen something like this in the sport of football, man.
I don't think so.
I think the only comparable example is actually seeing Kevin Durant join the Warriors. When the Warriors went on their incredible run where they broke the Bulls record, regular season record, and then lost in the final, but still were a absolute super team with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and everybody else, Andre Iguodala. I watch basketball, folks. And then KD decides to join them afterwards. And it was the same sort of response. People were like, okay, they have to win everything. They're going to win everything. And ultimately, they did, outside of those years where they had to face injuries due to either Steph or KD getting injured. But if they were healthy, they would have won all things to be won throughout those 4 years where they were together. The same thing applies to Mbappe now. And the thing is, actually, I'm not seeing many people put that pressure on them.
That's what I'm saying.
The narrative right now is, Real Madrid's going to win everything. Oh, it's over. This is what they warned us about in the Bible. This is greed. This is greed. This is crazy. But ultimately, this is Madrid. This is what Madrid's going to do. They're going to dominate. But I'm not seeing the other side of what happens if they don't.
Yeah.
They just got Bellingham. They got Arda Güler coming through the ranks. Like, they've done literally everything right up to this point. Yeah. Now that they have secured Mbappe. What happens if they don't? What happens if they blow it, bro?
Yeah.
Like, low key. Do you think guys like Pep have something to say about this? Do you think guys like these major coaches have something to say about the dominance that Real Madrid is imposing on football itself? I'm just saying, dude, if it happens, it'll be crazy to see, but I love to see how people react because Real Madrid just cannot blow it. They can't. They have to win everything. I do think they will, but they have to, bro. They have to.
They have to. For me, the only thing that I'll accept is like a penalty shootout loss against like the next best team. That is the only thing I'll accept.
Injury?
Okay, sure. Injury. Like if Vinicius is out with an ACL injury or something like that, God forbid. But other than that, man, Madrid have to go all the way once again because their team has only gotten stronger and they are already billed as the best team in the world.
100%.
So it's just crazy, 100%. Man. And also, like, I want to get, again, more opinions on this because where do you think Mbappe is going to ultimately fit into this team, bro? Is Ancelotti just going to slot him right up top, have Vinicius on the left, Rodrigo on the right, and Bellingham underneath? Like, that's crazy, we'll man.
See, but I know personally, I like Mbappe more when he's on the wing than when he's central. I always enjoy him way more when he's able to run at defenders, when he's able to create or be at the end of an opportunity versus kind of just waiting it out in the center area. The thing is, that's probably where they're going to put him because that's the place, that's a position that they need fulfilled the most because you have Vinny Jr. already doing that for your team, and he's doing it at the highest level. Loki might have done it better than Mbappe last year, and then on the other side you have Rodrigo who can do the same exact thing. So I think he's going to be played centrally. I don't think he'll be bad in it. I just think ultimately you are going to have to give up certain potentials, certain opportunities for each of these players up front because I don't think anyone will be able to like max themselves out in a lineup that has Vinny, Rodrigo, Endrick off the bench, Mbappe, Bellingham, guys like Valverde who can shoot from outside the box. Like, there's no way anybody can max themselves out. You're gonna have to give up certain things, and I think Mbappe might actually have to give up a lot to fit into this team.
I agree, and that's actually my next point is Ancelotti is going to have a massive job managing, like truly just managing this team because you look at the egos, and it's a good thing, the egos of these players. You have Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. This was Vinicius Jr.'s team offensively. Then Jude Bellingham came and they kind of shared it. How are you going to share the limelight between three, not one, not two, three superstars? Realistically, I don't even know if it's actually possible. I think one player is going to have to really dim their own light. I don't know if it's going to be Bellingham, Vinicius, or Mbappe, but something's going to have to give. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing when I watch Madrid is to see exactly what. Because happens, I have no how it all happens.
How the hell
man.
Does that happen? Like,
and also, like, Endrick, can we please send him on loan, bro? He's not seeing the goddamn pitch, man. I want to see him play this year. And he's not going to be playing if they have the team that they have.
I mean, I don't see them sending him out on loan, bro.
I know, that's why I'm upset, because like for me it's a waste of talent.
Same with Goulet,
bro. There's no way those two players, and they're such good talents, there's no way they get meaningful minutes, and that just breaks my heart, because you look at teams that are in the mid-table of Spain who are begging for purchases, and they can't get anybody. So the fact that Madrid have this much depth now offensively, maybe it is a little gluttonous, I'll be honest.
And I would say the only other team that can say the same thing in terms of greed is Cruz Azul. Because Cruz Azul, what they've done this is actually a real transition I'm doing. All right,
let's do it. Let's get in there.
They just got Giacomakis from Atlanta United. They got Luis Romo, Mexican international center defensive midfielder, gets a ton of minutes for the national team, Monterrey. Andres Montaño and Jorge Sanchez.
Yeah.
By Liga MX standards, that's a crazy haul. That's the Galacticos
of
Mexico, bro.
It really is. When I saw that, and they also kept all of their other players, like Rotondi, for example, Piovi, the players that were really impactful in their run to the final last season, they're all still here, and they added all of this. It's so surprising, because usually when teams get to the final, they don't buy anybody after. But Cruz Azul went the exact opposite direction. They're like, they doubled down. Cruz Azul have to go to the final again.
And they lost two players, but one of them I think makes a lot of sense. Salcedo left, or he's done, right? That's fine. But then they did lose Huescas, who went to FC Copenhagen.
Oh, that's good.
Copenhagen. Apparently, he's already putting in a great name for Mexicans all around. He's doing a great job over there. They love him over there. That's actually a really good transfer.
Dope.
But they lose Huescas. That's the only part that I think they end up dipping in. But outside of that, I just couldn't believe that haul, man. That haul was like, this is so surprising. Cruz Azul is actually trying to go for it, and I'm down for it, dude. I want to see them make it back to a final. That they have secured one of the better defensive midfielders in Luis Romo, a great striker in Giacomakis, and then Jorge Sanchez, who often gets criticized, often hated. He tried to go to Europe, and maybe he's not European quality, but he for sure can be Liga MX quality, bro, for sure. So Cruz Azul definitely stood out to me in the transfer window realm. What also stood out to me, though, was a story you told me regarding Leon and a transfer, and I'm asking you as a friend to report that story to the Give and Go viewers.
It is crazy.
I'm not seeing anything about it online.
For real?
But I looked it up, and it is true what you told me.
Yeah, like honestly, I don't even know how to feel about it. Obviously, I mean, I'll just...
How do we navigate this one, bro?
I don't know how to navigate this, is what I'm trying to say, man. But I will report what has happened. So Leon got an attacking midfielder. His name is, I believe it's Luciano Cabral. Yeah. He is an Argentine who last season played in Chile, right? And he actually had a great season, so much so that he got on Leon's radar. Leon, honestly, have a great scouting system. So if we get a player from South America, it's usually because he's probably pretty good. Cabral already has played. He is immediately coming to the team. He's starting already, and he's good. He's a really good creative midfielder. What's interesting is he just got out of prison 2 years ago off of an 8-year sentence.
Yeah.
Not one, not two. 8,
bro.
8 years.
8.
And the reasoning for that sentence was he was involved in a murder.
It's crazy, dude.
Crazy.
That's so crazy.
Fucking nuts, bro.
He didn't do it though. Like,
he didn't do it.
And the Wikipedia article said that he was good in like in prison. He was a good guy.
Yeah. So technically, he got off. Like he got off early, like by 2 years.
Yes.
So technically, he should still be in prison. But since he was good, they let him out a little early.
Right.
So he was playing professional football before the sentence, but then he got sentenced and he legitimately went to jail.
And he was part of it though, right?
So the whole story, even it's short, is all that we're given is there was a murder. It was like between two families, his family and another family, and the police found blood on his boots. And so because of that, he was deemed directly involved. They couldn't prove that he was the one who did it, and his dad ended up being like, I did it. Like, he's like, I am the one who killed that guy, and so my son is innocent. But since they can say that his son somehow knew about it, that he was still involved, so he therefore got sentenced to I think like 10 years, but he got off early by like 3 years or something like that. Man. And so he came back to professional football in Argentina, went to Chile, had apparently a really good season, man. And Leon are like, he's good enough to play in Liga MX, and he's starting.
Yeah. And I think I saw he finally got his first goal contribution. He got an assist.
Yeah.
He got an assist for you guys. So that is insane, dude.
It's crazy, bro.
Insane, man. Insane. Luciano Cabral. Remember the name. And then just staying in Liga MX, one more team that just kind of surprised me was Toluca. Toluca, who acquired Jesus Gallardo. Gallardo's on Toluca.
Really?
It's kind of crazy imagining going from, that deep blue, almost purple that Monterrey is, to then a bright red of Toluca.
Yeah.
But Gallardo's going to be there. And then most notably what they did was they got a striker, Paulinho, who played alongside Gyökeres at Sporting CP just last year. We got a Portuguese in the league, bro, and he's like 29 years old.
Toluca have that?
Yep, and he already has 3 goals, 1 assist in the league so far.
Oh, nice.
He's like a baller.
That's apparently a good signing then.
Yeah, I would love to know the behind-the-scenes story, how that came to be, but a Portuguese player who's pretty decent, just played in one of Portugal's biggest clubs, is now here at Toluca balling out.
Damn, Toluca usually don't do that either. They usually just get South American talent. So that is dope that they, went across over to Europe. That is dope. A couple other random Liga MX transfers that caught my eye was Emmanuel Reynoso from Minnesota.
Where did he end up going?
He's at Tijuana now.
No.
Yeah, he's at Tijuana.
Damn, man.
So great if you're a Tijuana fan.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, sorry
he
about that. But I'm just like, dang, I thought.
Yeah, because he was pretty good, man.
Yeah,
he's pretty good. So he's going to be good there. But it honestly, probably a downgrade or at least just a lateral move if you consider his resume.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Julian Quinones, right, going to Saudi Arabia to Al-Qadsiah, I think honestly is pretty notable.
10 million.
I wish him well, honestly. He was one of my favorite players over the last 3 years in Liga MX. I mean, what he did with Atlas, I thought was fantastic. Yeah. He was so good that he got himself a starting position in America, won titles there. So, good luck to Julian, man. He's one of my favorite players to play in Liga MX. I hope he goes off in Saudi Arabia, and he's going to be playing with some notable players. Yep. Hernandez, Cohen Castillo's the Belgium goalkeeper, Nacho, the Real Madrid center back.
Yes, sir.
So he's got some players he's got some ballers that he's going to be playing with. That'll be interesting to see.
Watch him apply for citizenship in Saudi Arabia. The type of guy he is.
That'd be crazy, bro.
Yeah, but no, I love
Colombians, man.
I love Quinones, and that run with Atlas was ridiculous. He has a good Liga MX resume to look back on. He does, but best to him in Saudi Arabia. I wonder how it'll impact his national team call-ups and performances. That's my only question.
I'm curious.
Will it improve it, or will he ultimately dip in performance and in form, thus impacting the team? That's my worry. I want to see what happens. So that's all I can really say. Sticking to that area, Saudi Arabia and AFC, one of your boys made a big move. One of your boys, specifically Aliou Dieng, finally left Al-Ahly. Yeah.
Where'd he go?
Aliou Dieng, if you guys don't know, is one of Al-Ahly's, you could say, star midfielders during their past 5 years, I would say. Yeah. It's been incredible for them. He finally made a move. He's going to Al-Kholood.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah. You go and his trajectory is cool though, because he just started in Mali. I think went to another West African team and then played against Al-Ahly in the Champions League. He was that good. They're like, oh, you're coming to Egypt, bro. One of the biggest clubs in Africa, by the way. Did so well for them there. And now, honestly, I hope he's making money then in Qatar. I hope that's what it is.
I think it's one of those things. So your boy is gone now. And then kind of sticking in the same realm too. This one was crazy to me as well. I had no idea. But apparently Rakitic was at Al-Shabaab.
Did not know that.
Apparently he was there. He played 8 games for them, scored 1 goal, and then decided, you know what? It's time for me to go and play at home. So he made the move to join Hadjuk Split, one of the biggest clubs in Croatia. And if you haven't seen the videos, bro, the videos are ridiculous of how they're welcoming him over in Croatia. Similar vibes to when Dybala signed for Roma. You remember that whole reception he got? Yeah. Very similar, dude. Where we got fireworks, we got parades happening because Rakitic is coming to play back home. And I thought it was because, maybe he had started his career off at Hadjuk Split. Turns out he didn't even start his career off in Croatia, dude.
Yeah.
Rakitic is born in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Born in Switzerland, and he started his career off with Basel. So this will actually be the first time that he gets to play in Croatia, which I thought, okay, that's what makes this really cool. And shout out Rakitic. He's like 36 years old now. I think he can still ball out in the Croatian league and hopefully bring Hadjuk Split some silverware, because obviously it's dominated over there by Zagreb.
Do we know if Hadjuk Split are like in the Conference League or something? I wonder.
I don't know. I just remember they were close to getting to the title this past year, but they ended up falling short. That's all I know.
Okay. Yeah. I wonder. That'd be crazy if Rakitic is playing European football again.
That'd be dope. That'd be dope with the Croatian team. With the Croatian team. We also have guys like Palhinha going to Bayern for 42 million. Michael Olise joining Bayern as well for 45 million. Bayern so far making some notable moves that, honestly, dude, I really, really like.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up, because I do want to talk about Bayern's transfers. These are two huge transfers. We talked all last year about how inconsistent Bayern were. You look at the wings and it kind of makes sense. Their starting wingers was some variation of Serge Gnabry and Leroy Sané, right? Gnabry and Sané, great players, but heavily inconsistent. And I think that just doesn't help Kane's idea of getting silverware. It didn't help Bayern's overall trajectory last year, because they would have really good appearances, but I think just game in, game out, Sané and Gnabry can go ghost a lot of times. Now in comes Michael Olise, a really exciting young talent who popped off at Crystal Palace the last 3 months of the Premier League. I think he still has a lot more room to grow, but I think he's just going to add to that winger rotation that Bayern desperately need to build. So I think this is a great signing. Olise has already proved he can play at a very high level. I think he's going to thrive at Bayern low-key, bro. I think he's going to go off. So this is a great signing. And I can say the same thing about João Palhinha. Palhinha, for the last 2 seasons, specifically at Fulham, has been regarded as one of the best box-to-box midfielders in the Premier League. Now he's going to join Konrad Laimer alongside him in that defensive midfield. And he's just going to lock it up, bro. So and it makes sense, because Leon Goretzka has gone ghost. He's no longer that starting defensive midfielder that everyone thought he was going to be. So now Palhinha comes in. You have 20-year-old Pavlovic who can come in rotation, learn from Palhinha, learn from Laimer. I think these are 2 excellent signings from Bayern Munich.
I think it's certain that Kane is not going to go trophyless next season, man, because these offseason moves from Bayern have been really, really good so far. I'm personally a big fan of Palhinha. The pod knows it. You know it. I loved him for so long, and I think his performances have shown it, especially with Fulham and with the Portuguese national team. He's exactly the guy they need, and you already said it, bro. You nailed it on the head. Pairing him up alongside Konrad Laimer, I think is going to make for an elite defensive midfield partnership that is going to be so tough to break down. So this is a 10 out of 10 signing for me, Palhinha. And then Olise, I think, is just as important, really exciting. I just want to see how he translates his game over to Bayern, whereas at Crystal Palace, he had more responsibility. He had more freedom, I would say. I want to see how he adapts to Bayern and the German league, and if he just can go off and pop off in what is an offensive league ultimately. So 2 great signings so far. I want to see what else they do. But, brother, I can see you itching. What else is on your mind regarding the transfer window, bro?
It's Aston Villa, dude. It's Aston Villa. Because have you seen how much they've spent, bro? Have you seen?
Douglas Luiz is the second most expensive signing, I think, behind Mbappe.
Isn't that crazy,
Something like
bro?
that.
Yeah, Douglas Luiz, I think, was 60 million worth is how much they got off of him, which is crazy.
I don't think he's worth that, man.
Oh, no, absolutely not. But it's that Premier League money, man. Yeah. And teams, Premier League knows it. The rest of Europe knows it. But, dude, Aston Villa have spent 176 million euros this transfer window. Also consider the last 2 seasons they've spent a lot of money. The thing is, it's worked. They just got Champions League qualification last season. They know they're getting that broadcast money coming in this season, and they have not shied away from spending a lot of money. But what's even crazier is that they've in turn, through their sales, have made 127 million.
Really?
So they're only 50 million in the they're only 50 million in debt, but That's nothing, bro. For a Premier League team, 50 million, it's insane business, bro.
Run me through the names.
Yeah.
I'm going blank right now.
So the really big one that has made them a lot of money, Moussa Diaby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I do want to talk about him. So he's going to Al-Ittihad in the Saudi Pro League, and I'm disappointed. Diaby, man. I was so high on this transfer last year because he was one of the best winger/wingbacks in the Bundesliga 2 seasons ago for Bayer Leverkusen, and I expected him to translate that over to the Premier League. And he gave it 1 season. He wasn't the main starter, and he was just like, you know what? I want out. And I mean, for Villa, it was no problem because they're getting 60 million for him, but for Diaby himself, I'm just very, very disappointed because, I mean, I'll never see him again.
Well, bro, think about it. He leaves Bayer Leverkusen, and I'm like, holy shit, that's crazy because he was a big part of Bayer Leverkusen. The year before we heard of Bayer never losing, it was Moussa Diaby's Bayer Leverkusen where he was going crazy. Dude, crazy. And so I thought him leaving was already a crazy move, but then we see what happens. Leverkusen improves. Goes to Aston Villa. Doesn't really get minutes. Aston Villa improves. I think Moussa Diaby's becoming the toxic ex, bro. He's the toxic ex, man. And low-key, I won't be surprised if Al-Ittihad doesn't play him and they improve. They make it deep in the Champions League this time around, or something good happens and he ends up going to freaking Toluca or something, man.
Yeah, low-key.
Like, I won't be surprised anymore because what we've seen from Diaby has been so disappointing. I thought he was going to be the next great French winger, dude, man. Like, I just saw so much positivity for him and how he plays, how clinical he was during that 2023 season, but we just haven't seen anything of it, especially at Aston Villa, where I thought the situation was set up for him to be successful. Did not pan out whatsoever, and now he's going to Saudi Arabia, and hopefully he can at least put up numbers there and get some form of confidence back.
I hope, man. And for Al-Ittihad specifically, since I saw a lot of them in the Champions League last year, I hope they just integrate him into the team. He could be a really good asset for them. Al-Ittihad are so individualistic, and I think you just going off on Diaby now, I don't know if this is going to be the right guy for him. I hope he is, but honestly, he might make matters worse over there for Al-Ittihad, bro. Like, they already have a problem with that, so, God, all right, yeah, bad.
Conte's working his ass off and shit.
Working his ass off, dude. There's so much more about Villa because they made 50 million off of Douglas Luiz, right? So if you consider the fact that they no longer have a starting central midfielder, and, you know, Luiz was great. I wish he was always a little bit better. I remember when he was at Girona, I thought he was going to be a really good ball-playing midfielder. He's good, but ultimately, I think he's pretty expendable. Like, he can start for you, but he'll never go above and beyond performance-wise for you. So that's why I'm okay with Villa getting rid of him. You get 50 million for him. But in return, bro, they've gotten Amadou Onana.
They did get Onana.
Massive. And honestly, I think he's just as good as Douglas Luiz. He's younger at 22 years of age. He's already Prem ready since he played at Everton the previous season, and he was fantastic. Onana is an incredible get. But also, they get Ian Maatsen, who, for me, was one of the standout performers in the Champions League knockout rounds last year. Obviously, he was a starting left back for Dortmund, who went all the way to the final. They now have Ian Maatsen in that position. I think that's going to be huge for Aston Villa. So already 2 insane gets. And I think another player that's going to go off this season is a player that they got for only 14 million. It's an incredible deal. Samuel Illing Jr. Remember the name. He had a great standout season for Juventus last year in Serie A. He won the Coppa Italia with him as the starting left wing back. I think this guy's got what it takes to be a star. I don't think he's there yet. He's 20 years of age, but he's incredibly tight on the ball. He has insane speed, and I just think with that technique, he'll be one of the better wingbacks in the Premier League. I'm making that prediction right now.
All right.
I have a lot of high hopes for Samuel Illing Jr.
Yes, sir.
I think he's so athletic, but he couples it with insane technique, and I just like that he's only 20 years old, man. I think he's going to build into one of the better better flank players in the Premier League, and Aston Villa now have him. Again, just insane business, bro. It's insane business from Aston Villa. They also get Enzo Barrenechea, who was a Frosinone central midfielder. That just adds to the depth. They also got Ross Barkley, who
really? Ross?
They got Ross Barkley now. And whether he starts or not, he'll be in rotation, bro, because he knows the league so well, bro. So you consider everything that they lost and everything that they got. I mean, it's way more positive than it is negative, bro.
You're high on Aston Villa.
Aston Villa, man, I just think they made the right moves. Now, the thing is, they ended the season pretty poorly. So I'm hoping that they can forget that. They're able to keep, obviously, the rest of their better players. So I'm hoping Aston Villa don't pull a Newcastle, right? Because Newcastle got the Champions League. They honestly had a pretty average season. I'm hoping Villa don't do that. And I think based off of the signings that they've made, I think they won't. I think they'll have another good season.
My only thing is it enough to top the teams that were above them? Because they were pretty high in the standings, though. Like, is it enough to top Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City? Like, they might end up in the same position ultimately because every other team above them is just so stacked. That's my only thing. But at the very least, we'll be able to compete with those teams much better this upcoming season. So I see it as an improvement, and I think it's a much better example, or at least a better team to hope for than that Newcastle side we saw last year, because I bought into that, and I was punished for believing in them, bro. I was punished. It was terrible. But staying along that same sort of line of thinking here, we've got some interesting reports coming out of Bilbao.
Oh, Nico?
Reports saying that Nico Williams wants to stay.
No, wait, really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
But, okay.
That's my reporters. The people that are whispering in my ear. I don't know about yours, bro.
What about the idea that PSG might want him?
I'm not. But what?
Isn't that crazy, bro?
No.
But doesn't it make sense? Because they don't have to pay Mbappe no more. Obviously, Neymar's not there anymore. Messi's not there anymore. There's room for a superstar salary at PSG now. They wouldn't even blink an eye if Nico's like, yes, I'll come to PSG. They'll be like, oh, we got you money-wise.
Damn, I hadn't heard that. You got the French in your ear, bro. I had not heard that.
The thing is, I like it, man. And I honestly think it's more viable than a Barca move, because Barca's finances, we all know, is in the shitter.
Yeah, he'll have to pay for his own boots and shit. Like, it ain't gonna go good for him, bro. Whereas at PSG, he'll get his own deal, dude. He'll get his own shoe and everything. I just hadn't thought about that. But beyond that, I still wouldn't want it, because I want him ultimately to stay at Athletic Bilbao, man.
Would be dope.
I think that's the best story, dude. That's the best thing that could happen for Nico Williams and for Athletic Bilbao, is to get one more year post Copa del Rey and post Euros run.
Look, man, if he does stay,
great player.
I hope. If Nico Williams does stay, I'm gonna need to see. I'm gonna see every game, but with the pressure that the rest of Athletic have to play the best season of their goddamn lives, because they cannot waste another year of prime young Nico Williams. You can't waste that. So I'm looking at Susaeta, bro, and I'm looking at Gomez, and I'm asking them, play the best football that you've ever played, because do not let my boy Nico down. Do not do that.
Oh, you're right.
So that's my only stipulation, bro. I'm fine with him staying, but I need to see the rest of Athletic step up.
No, you're right. You're right. It's just a report I heard that he either wants to stay, or it looks like Athletic will be able to retain him. But you're right, because if we want to get the most out of Nico, you got to match that talent with other talented players on the team. And PSG can offer that.
They can.
But wouldn't it be beautiful, man, if it actually did come to fruition,
It would be so anti-modern football, because almost always the bag really does speak for everybody. But if Nico says, you know what, I'm good at Athletic for another year, that'd be beautiful, truly. I'd love to see it.
Yeah. Is Calafiori going to change Arsenal?
Well, honestly, I think he fits in perfectly. If you consider the type of football that Arteta has tried to make his team play over the last 3 seasons, the emphasis is on ball possession. He basically takes the idea of tiki-taka and he's modernized it into the Premier League fashion. And you look at the style that Calafiori plays, he is a ball-playing center back. So you consider the midfield type of players, the offensive type of players that Arsenal have right now, Calafiori is that. He's just a center back version. So you consider that, you take all of that into account, this is like the perfect signing for Arteta.
Where does he get in on the lineup, though?
That's the crazy part, man. They're so stacked back there.
Does he start over Gabriel? Does he get in at one of the fullback positions at this point? Is he a defensive midfielder, bro?
Yeah.
That's my thing. When I look at the lineup, I'm like, how are they going to fit him in? Is it a back three, maybe?
Is it a back three? Yeah. It's a formational change.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take out a midfielder, which could be doable because Jorginho's getting old, bro. And you also consider Thomas Partey is always injured. Arteta's always trying to rotate in new midfielders. Well, you take away that problem by not even have to worry about one of those positions, and you just put Calafiori as a back three. Honestly, yeah, I think that'd be the immediate solution. You have 2 wing backs, that's no problem, and then you get to keep the front 3. Odegaard as an attacking midfielder underneath that. I think it could work.
Yeah, you got Declan Rice right there guarding everything for you too. But
exactly.
I think what's interesting about Calafiori is what he offers offensively from a defensive point of view, because I mean ultimately Saliba and Gabriel, they're only ever going to get an offensive impact through a corner kick goal or a set piece. But Calafiori, after what I saw in the Euros and what we see in Bologna, I think he had 2 goals, 5 assists this last year in the Serie A, which is crazy from a center back. But then also in the Euros, that highlight of him assisting the game winner against Croatia, I believe, to at least keep their hopes alive to go into the round of 16, I thought was insane. And Calafiori has that in him now. And imagine him working with guys like Martinelli and Bukayo Saka up front. Like, he could actually end up being a great assist man from that back line, which I think will be a big new element, a new weapon for Arsenal to utilize. I think it's a great signing. And for the money, I was so surprised in the fact that they just went for it. Basically, the day after he popped off in the Euros, Arsenal's like, we're getting him. And they got him.
They got him, man. And not only that, like the idea that he's going to fit in with Arsenal well, I don't doubt that. But just his style is so unique. I mean, it's so rare to see a player like Calafiori be that effective offensively from a center back position. It's must-watch football, bro. Seeing Calafiori right now, especially off of the hype that he built in the Euros, I'm going to be watching Arsenal specifically to see Calafiori, at least for the first couple games, man.
What about Botafogo? Are you going to be watching Botafogo?
Who'd they get?
They got...
Was it Almada, as you said?
They got Almada.
They got Thiago Almada.
Thiago Almada, who is going off at the Olympics right now. And ultimately ends up making the move that many people knew was coming one day for one of the MLS's best talents. Ends up being a move to Brazil to play for Botafogo, who currently remains in the top 3 of the Brazilian standings, by the way, which I thought was crazy. Like, they didn't let what happened last year affect them mentally. They're in the top 2, and they're actually tied for first place right now.
Wow.
Side note, Santos in first place in Serie B.
Yeah. I looked at that the other day. I was like, oh, good for Santos.
Yeah, they immediately responded to getting relegated. But regardless, Thiago Almada going to Botafogo. Let's talk about that real quick, because... is it a downgrade? Is it as much as people hope for? Because I think everyone, man, especially including myself, thought he was going to make the jump to Europe.
How old is he again? Do we know? Like 22?
Probably 24.
23, 24?
I think 24, 23.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. As long as he's only there for like 2 years and then goes to Europe when he's like 26, 27, because he'll still have 4 good years of prime. I like it because it is, for me, a step up, which is in the right direction if you're a footballer, right? I consider the Brazilian Serie A to be a better league than the MLS. So going from Atlanta United to Botafogo, and not only just to a team in Brazil, but to one of the better teams, as you just pointed out, I think it's great. I think it's an excellent signing for Botafogo. I think this will be a really good experience for Almada. It's a completely different style of play. That's the thing. Like, the MLS, there's not a lot of emphasis on defense, whereas in Brazil, it's a little bit more physical, but it's even more technical than the MLS can be. So I think Almada will actually have to adapt a bit of his game, and he'll have to improve himself if he wants to stand out the way he did in the MLS. So I ultimately think this is a great move for everybody involved.
Yeah, he's going to have to work. He's going to have to work.
Yeah.
He's got it in him, but I agree. I don't want to see him stay there for 2 years and then just start rotating between Botafogo, Vasco da Gama, Academia. Like, that'd be the worst thing. He just starts going, and then he ends up in Argentina again, man. Like, that'd be the worst thing, man. I want to see him make that jump, but interesting move, because it was a move. I think the move was like 25 million or something. It was
25.
Pretty pricey. It was pricey,
bro.
Oh
my God.
It was a good amount of money that Atlanta now has.
Well, that's actually good business for Atlanta then.
And selling Giacomakis as well.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting what Atlanta has done so far. Really interesting.
Good for Atlanta.
What isn't interesting is what Liverpool has done. Nothing, bro. Nada. Zilch. I think ultimately, even now that I've seen the rumors of who we want to get, like, it's nobody that moves the needle, man.
No.
Nah, I think if anything, the player that I've seen that Liverpool has been most linked to has been Anthony Gordon. And let's just say we do get him. At the end of the day, that ain't changing the identity of this Liverpool team. I think ultimately the owners and everybody involved has agreed behind the scenes that we're just going to run it back. Let's just run it back with who we got. We still got Salah. He got a hair transplant. He looks a little bit better, more confidence. Van Dijk is still the Rolls Royce of a defender that he is. Alisson has not changed whatsoever. And
Szoboszlai,
McAllister always have room to improve as well. And then all those youngsters that we saw go off last year are now aged another year. Yeah. Let's just see what we can do now with a full season of health. We got rid of Joe Matip. We got rid of Thiago. So, got rid of the players that are constantly injury prone. Let's just see what it looks like once again.
I like the approach. From a fan perspective, it can definitely be frustrating. But if you think about what Liverpool are trying to achieve, right, it's winning the Premier League. Problem is, you don't have Jurgen Klopp anymore, right? And we've already talked about what Klopp meant to Liverpool and what he's meant to club football in general, bro. You don't have that energy anymore. So I kind of like that. They're like, all right, Arne Slot, if you want this job, we're not going to buy you players yet. Make it work with what you're coming into. You pull this off, maybe we treat you nice next summer. So I like the approach, but for sure as a fan, it's definitely frustrating. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, that's all right. We went off last summer. We went off last summer with all our purchases, Endo, McAllister, Szoboszlai. I think it's fine. And I just think I want everyone to get healthy. I want everyone to get right, and let's see what it looks like. On the flip side, how's your Atleti team doing? Let's finish off with Atleti. That's how we finish off the episode. Update me, bro, because what the hell's going on, man?
Dude, every week there's been like a new rumor, but like the chances of them happening is like maybe 10%. But bro, I hold on to those rumors, because the reality is we've let go of Stefan Savic and Mario Hermoso, so two starting center backs gone. Now, the thing is, we've actually covered it well. We've got Robin Lenormand. He is a European champion with Spain, and he was the starting center back as a part of that 11. And we get him. We get Robin Lenormand. He's going to be immediately our best center back, just like that. And I'm completely happy with that. Obviously, he's been in La Liga for years now under the Real Sociedad system. We have great relationship with Sociedad when it comes to getting their players. I have no doubt in my mind that Lenormand is going to be one of my favorite players over the next couple of seasons with Atleti. So I think that's excellent business. But it ends there. That's it. That's all we've done.
No more?
There's no more. We've lost Memphis Depay. We haven't covered him.
Saúl.
We've lost Saúl in the midfield. We've also lost Alvaro Morata, and I think that's the biggest one, right?
Oh, yeah,
Morata going to AC Milan, and we have nobody in his place. Samu Omorodion, right, is coming back from loan from Alaves. He scored 8 goals last year.
Dude.
But that's a problem, man, because Morata, I consider him to be much better than Samu, and Morata could only manage like 15, right, with Atleti, right? It's a very specific system you have to play if you want to be a successful striker for Atletico Madrid. Samu doesn't have that right now. I'll tell you that much. So even if Samu comes in, bro, he's going to struggle. He can't be our starting option. There's absolutely no way. I could see him being in, maybe a backup position, low-key, maybe even third string, or we sell him for 60 million to Chelsea. I'd actually prefer that option. That way we could get someone a little bit more established. But right now, bro, I mean,
Felix, what's going on with Felix?
There's nothing. Felix, he himself with his agents are trying to find a deal. But if not, we're just going to keep him or send him out on loan. The story is right now is he can't find a deal with either Benfica or PSG. Aston Villa is actually trying to get him.
No way.
Yeah, which would be crazy because they've already spent so much. But honestly, Villa getting Felix would be lit. Just straight up. I hope that happens. Hopefully we get a lot of money for him and Villa just gets stronger offensively. I'd love to see that personally because Felix has stated already, again, he does not want to play for Simeone and Atletico. He doesn't want to do it. So he'll be training by himself in the corner. Yeah. Just like he did last season, bro. The lonely Felix. It's nothing new, bro. So, there's just nothing going for us offensively. We almost got Dovbyk. Almost got him, but he snubbed us. He last second was like, you know what? I'm going to Italy instead. Fuck you.
Wow.
And I said, fuck you too.
Yeah.
It just is what it is right now. The only signing we've made, bro, is Lenormand.
Worries me, man. Worries me. This is your season, is what you're telling me. If you guys don't fulfill and if you guys don't figure out, if you guys don't find players to fill in the roles of all the absences you now have, including one that is, Griezmann's not getting any younger, bro. And so you need even more help than usual, bro.
And have you heard the rumors of Griezmann? Like within the last 2 days, LAFC.
Oh, I did hear that. And they're willing to throw the bag.
They're willing to throw it.
And that'd be great.
It would make so much sense, bro. Because Griezmann, I feel like, is right in that great period as far as, like, can he actually do it at a Champions League level anymore? The answer might be no, right? And so if you're LAFC, you'd still get Griezmann right in that period where he could dominate for a year or two in the MLS. This is the time, if you're LA, to get Antoine Griezmann. And for Atleti, it'd also be the time because we get money for him. So I'd be cool if he leaves. Now the crazy thing is, if he leaves, bro, we're gonna pull Liverpool. We're gonna pull Liverpool and play our academy players for a whole
season,
year,
man. And that's the problem. If you guys don't get active in the transfer window, like as of right now, like if you start the season right now, Atleti's finishing in like 9th. Right now, make 5 more signings, boom, you're up at 4th or 5th.
Yeah. No, seriously, bro.
So your whole season right now is this summer transfer window. So have fun, bro. I bet the offices are just crazy right now over in Madrid and everything, the decisions they have to make, and get ready for 40 games of Mori. You don't know whatever that guy's name is.
I know, bro.
Get ready,
because
I think that's coming.
It's coming, man, and we're gonna have to rely on our wingbacks to score, like to be our top. Yeah, exactly, bro. Simeone's gonna have to talk with Lino and be like, you're going to have to be our top goal scorer this season. Yep. He's going to be like, all right.
I'm saying that. Are you not worried? You're a little scared or what? What's up? Chill?
I'm not worried.
Okay.
I'm not worried because at the end of the day, we always figure it out. Now, this is probably the most grim it's look from a transfer perspective, but I'm not worried in the sense that I bet you we can at least finish close, or if not get that 4th place finish, which is Champions League. That's all I care about. We're not getting anywhere close though to title though. Like we're not winning anything next year. I've already accepted that. So yeah, from that perspective, it sucks. But I mean,
All right, bro. If you guys don't make 2 more signings, you're not finishing above 5th, is what I'm saying. I need to see 2 more signings.
All right, yeah. That'll be fun to watch, though. Transitionary period at Atleti. It's going to be really interesting, bro.
Folks, let us know, what are the transfers that stick out to you in all of world football? What transfers mean the most to you? Let us know in the comments down below. We'll catch you guys next time.